Prollasad Moktika Shrenika Chandrika Mandalodbhasi Lavanya Ganda Sthalanyasta Kasturiga Patra Rekha Samudbhuta Saurabhya Sambranta Bhrangangana Gita Sandri Bhavan Mandra Tantri Sware Susware Bhasware. So this in the last session, we closed with this verse. And we said in this verse, there are many adjectives that are introduced here. So, and then there are essentially two or three different types of associations have been created. So what I mean by that is, we said what Prollasadvalika, Moktika Shrenika, Chandrika Mandalodbhasi. So there is this Prollasadvalika, Moktika Shrenika. There are earbuds or pearls that are dangling by the ears of Matangi. That this light that is coming, what kind of light? Mandalodbhasi, Chandrika Mandalodbhasi, Udbhasi. There is the shine of the Chandra, like the Chandrama shine, that is coming, and that is falling where? On the Lavanya Gandasthalanyasta. On the Lavanya Gandasthala is the cheeks, and there the shine of the moonlight, the moonlight like shine of the pearl earrings that are dangling by Devi's ears, that shine is falling on her cheeks, the Lavanya Gandasthalan, which means it's already charming and beautiful cheeks, and it's falling on that. And what is there on the cheeks? Nyasta means it's there. Kasturika Patra Rekha. Kasturika Patra Rekha is it's a paste that is applied, which is made up of kasturi manjal, or kasturi, the material. It's made of that, and it's applied that. And from there, what is happening? Samudbhuta Saurabhya. Saurabhya means fragrance. And from that fragrance is rising. Samudbhuta. Udbhuta means to arise. So the reflection, moonlight reflection of the ear pearls, of the pearl earrings are falling on the cheek, but in the cheek there is Kasturika Patra Rekha. There's an the lepa, or like an ointment. There is this kasturi is applied, and from that there is a beautiful fragrance that is rising. And because of this fragrance, what is happening? Sambhranta Bhrangangana Gita. So the Bhrangangana, or the female bees, are getting deluded. They're getting way lost. They're losing their way. They're becoming Sambhranta, because the fragrance, they're trying to go somewhere in search of a flower or honey or nectar. But because of this amazing fragrance, they're getting drawn towards this. So helplessly, they're getting drawn towards this. Sambhranta, which means they lose their way. They are not in the right state of their direction. They're losing that, and they're coming here. And then there is Gita that is formed. Sambhranta Bhrangangana Gita, which means the humming sound, the buzzing sound of the bee, the bhranga, the bee, that is causing zzz, there's a buzzing sound that's created. And that sound is like what? And then that sound is intensifying. Sandri Bhavan. Sandri Bhavan is intensifying. Why? Because the more and more bees that are coming. More bees are coming, and then the sound is intensifying. And the sound is like what? Mandra Tantri Sware. It is like the.
ಇದನ್ನೇ ಟೈಪ್ ಬೇಯಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಟಕ್ಕನ್ ಮೋನ ಕೈ ಕಾಲ ಮುಂದೆ ಫೇಸ್ ವಾಚ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಉಂಟು படிக்கணும்.
Sorry. Yeah, I just muted. So the fragrance, because of which the bees are getting attracted to the cheeks, and then there more and more bees are getting attracted to Sandri Bhavan, which means it's intensifying. What? Mandra Tantri Sware, the sound is intensifying. And what does it sound like? It sounds like mandra. Mandra means the lower octave of the Tantri Swara, which means it's the Swara of the Tantri, the lower octave of the Veena, or a string instrument. right? Could be a veena or a tambura. When they are played at a lower octave, that is the kind of sound that's created. Susware bhasware. O mother who is embodiment of swara, of harmonious sound, of music. O mother who is this bright, luminous one, bhasware. Okay. So if you notice, there are three essential aspects that are brought out here. I'll just spend a couple of minutes on that. One is light. Prolasad Valika, Moktika Shrenika, Chandrika, Mandalodbhasi, Udbhasi, which means light. Then Lavanya Gandasthalanyasta Kasturika Patra Rekha, Samudbhuta Saurabhya. Saurabhya is fragrance, smell. The third one is Sambhranta Bringangana Geeta. That's sound. Sandri Bhavan Mandra Tantri Sware, sound. Susware Bhasware. So there is light, there is smell, and there is sound. These three aspects are brought in here. Now, of the five sense organs that we have, these three kind of take a little prominence. Sound and smell, and then subsequently light. See, even if you go into what are the other two the organs of sense perception? Touch
Taste and touch.
and taste. Correct. Taste and touch. But when you are trying to go into the state of dhyana or trying to go inwards into contemplation, taste, it's all right. I mean, you are not, it's kind of, if you've had a proper meal and if you're not hungry, then generally you're settled within, you won't get drawn so much to taste, right? So the distraction of taste is less. The distraction of touch is also less as long as you keep yourself in an isolation. So to some extent, there is not much of external hindrance. So these are generally taken care. But what the three others, typically that is something that we need to manage and maintain so that we are able to go into a certain level of contemplation within. One is smell, because you have no control of smell. If there is a fragrance that blows, you can't choose not to smell. You'll automatically smell. Likewise, sound, whenever there is a sound that comes in the environment, you cannot choose not to hear unless you're putting you're putting earplugs and closing your ears and stuff like that. You can't choose not to listen. It'll just flow past and it'll pass through your ears and your ears will receive the sound. And then is light. Light is, of course, an experience. There is light that is outside. When you open your eyes, there is light. There is inside. When you close your eyes, you can still see. You can still experience certain aspects of sight within, right? You are able to, you'll perceive images, you'll perceive different colors and stuff like that. So if you look at these three sense perceptions, they, and keep light aside, smell and sound have a very strong influence on the mind. In fact, in I was reading in science, the research that they do, these together, they have given it a term called SMOUND, SMOUND. Smell and sound, they have given it a term called SMOUND, which means these two sense perceptions have a very strong impact on our state of mind, state of consciousness. And which is why even in whenever you go to a temple, if you have to sit, you notice there is dhupam. Or even in our altar, we use the dhupam. Why? Because you want to contain the other smells that are there. You don't want distractive smells. And sound, we usually play some Omkara or Mani Adikirthu, the bell that is rung. You essentially create some of these sounds so that other sounds don't come and distract you. Okay. So what is happening here is with Devi, if we are able to, if we are going in the path to contemplate upon her, upon Matangi, as part of that contemplation, if we are able to bring our sense of smell to the Samudbhuta Saurabhya, the fragrance that is rising from Devi, you stabilize and settle yourself in that fragrance and that smell. And sound, which is, we've already seen earlier, any sound, the sound of the bee is equated, the Bhrangangana Gita is equated to Omkara, Pranava. If you are able to bring our mind to the sound of Omkara, then there is inner perception of light, Udbhasi, Chandrika Mandalodbhasi. This light can be perceived within if we are able to bring our mind to a state of or if you contain the distraction on the smell and the sound, then it will be easy for you to get to a place where you perceive light within. Okay. So if you look at this particular verse, you can break it into three parts like that. Rollasadvalika, Mauktika Shrenika, Chandrika Mandalodbhasi is the result of what? Lavanya Gandasthalanyasta Kasturika Patra Rekha Samudbhuta Saurabhya. So the smell, you are essentially making yourself not being distracted by the smell, and you're bringing your sense organ of smell to be contained within Devi's Kasturika Patra Rekha. Or essentially you ensure that you don't have smells that, in fact, smell is one of the very, very fundamental sense perceptions that we carry, because smell also initiates certain memories within us. Smell is a very animal tendency. If you see animals, dogs for instance, how do they know whether you're a threat or you're a friend or they can come close to you?
They sniff.
They smell, they come and smell, right? In fact, they also mark their territory by urinating, and other dogs come and smell to see that it's another dog's territory. So smell is a very basic or basal tendency within us, which is very animal tendency. So, and you will see the memories that are associated in your mind are very strong with smell. When you go to a certain place or you smell something, immediately some memories will come saying that, I remember this place, I remember this person, I remember this whatever, the incident, the event. You'll not know how it's connected, but the sense of smell can bring that memory back, because the sense of smell is very rooted. Gandha. And Gandha is what? Earth element, Prithvi.
Mooladhara.
Huh? Mooladhara, correct. So, Gandha that way. So, it's very important that you establish the smell cognition within us, right? And not be distracted through that. And then you have what? Saurabhya Sambhranta, Saurabhya, then Sambhranta Bhrangangana Gita, Sandri Bhavan Mantra Tantri Sware. Then you have the sound can also be managed when you start generating Omkara within. Like we spoke about doing Brahmari and some other exercises. We chant Omkara, or you do some exercise in which you generate the sound of Omkara, or you listen to Omkara from the outside. And that way the sound aspect of it is also contained. It doesn't get distracted. So when these two are primarily managed well through the process of contemplation, then Mandalodbhasi, there's a possibility of experiencing light within. Okay. Yes, Mama. Like Mama is saying, Purva Janma Vasana. So the smell continues through lifetimes. Purva Janma Vasana. So light and sound and smell also kind of pervade, unlike the other two. Yes, that is also true. So it's a very interesting verse. I thought it will be interesting to just look at this aspect of it to bring a certain not just the poetic aspect of it. It's, of course, it's beautiful, but then there is a correlation, right? So then we try to wonder why that correlation is there, and we try to interpret and understand that this way. Okay.
And anything divine is usually associated with the light and sound. Yeah. Or just anything in general in the nature. So if you take thunder or lightning, for instance, the light and sound.
Correct. See, these are
touch and taste are more intrinsic. Idella konjam extrinsic.
Correct. Usually the moment, so for example, people who are blind, you will notice their auditory perception is very, very strong. And the perception of smell is very strong because the eyes are not operating. They use the other sense perceptions. So primarily the other two sense perceptions that will be activated are the ears for the sound and the nose for the smell. So, and here we are talking about, we are wanting to close the eyes, because in contemplation, you don't want the eyes are the most distractive perceptive organ, right? It's the most distractive perceptive organ. So we want to, but it's also easy to kind of close the eyes and switch off perception. But the other two are kind of difficult. We got to work with it, right? And then the thing with the eyes is, if you close your eyes also, there are some images that you'll keep observing inside. So now you're trying to bring that also to a certain state of equilibrium within, right? You don't want the mind to throw out images and you start seeing a movie inside your eyes. If you open your eyes, you see a movie outside, and you close your eyes, you see a movie inside, right? And the movie inside is worse.
But the most difficult, I feel, is the ears, because you can't close the ears.
You can't close the ears. Correct.
You can't close the ears. So sound, it's very hard to try not to entertain any sound that is coming into it. It just flows inside.
Correct.
மூக்காவது நம்ம வந்து நல்ல டீப் பிரீத் எடுத்து பிரீத்திங்ல ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்ணும்போது யூ மே நாட் ப்ராபப்ளி ஸ்மெல் அந்த அளவுக்கு வரலன்னா கூட கண்ணை மூடின்னு விடலாம், காதை ஒண்ணுமே பண்ணி தர முடியாது.
காது ஒண்ணுமே பண்ண முடியாது. Absolutely right. You can't do anything. So the காது வந்து, the ears can only be shut down by the mind.
By the mind, and probably some generate sound within.
So which is what they do these correct, the omkara exercise.
வந்து அந்த மனசுலயே அந்த ரீங்காரம் வந்ததுன்னா then probably try பண்ணணும்.
No, it's very important. See, because which is why we chant. See, what happens is, if you notice, suppose you're sitting down to do meditation and your mind is going distracted and you're still wanting to keep your eyes closed, the best way to quickly bring your mind back to a certain level of settling within is chant loudly, chant something, chant Om, or chant your mantra or whatever. And then suddenly you will see, after that chant some this thing, right? You
keep ringing.
And then it will keep ringing, because sound, like you're saying, Mama, sound also has there is outer sound and there's an inner sound. So the way you activate the inner sound, suppose you go Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namo Narayana, you shout out. And then slowly what happens is, that sound kind of fills your ears. And then slowly your mind comes to a calm, and then you keep listening to the Om Namo Narayana inside. And then the outside sound is no longer bothering. So these are methods we do to kind of contain the distractions from the outside. But you're right, sound is the most difficult, which is why chanting of mantra, shlokas, Vedas, and all of that, some of these scriptural texts which are very sound based, It's valuable because you reverberate, you should get the inner reverberation activated in a certain way so that the external reverberation does not impact you.
Right.
And it's also like here, as the verse is saying, mandra tantri swara, which means it has to be sound at a higher pitch. It is always an agitated sound. Sound, the lower it goes, the lower octaves it goes, it is a much settled sound. In fact, the sound is essentially vibration. Vibration is what? Waves. Now, the mind is the calmest. When the mind is the calmest in deep sleep, when you measure, it's said we are the waves that the brain waves are at a delta state. And the delta state waves are the most long in terms of, which means it's the slowest.
Amplitude.
The frequency is very low.
Wavelength is large and frequency.
Wavelength is much larger, frequency is very low. So that way the sounds are of much lower frequency. And this is the state of a jnani, or a state of a person in state of samadhi. Mandra tantri, in a very, very low. In fact, even if you listen to most of the Buddhist chants, you can look up on the internet, look up Buddhist chants, you will see they are at such low tones. Very, very bass sounds.
நீங்க சொல்லும்போது இமேஜின் பண்ண பார்க்கும்போது அந்த லோவஸ்ட் ஆக்டேவ்ல இந்த தம்பூராவோ இந்த இது கேட்டா it really calms your nerves, and you can easily slip into some kind of a dhyana
and complete. And in fact, very interestingly, small infants are given white noise. Those who are familiar with this, I think
We even got a device that actually generates white noise. So it cuts off. ராத்திரியில தூங்குறச்சே அப்பதான் பாத்திரம் தேய்ப்போம், அப்பதான் ஏதோ பண்ணிட்டு இருப்போம் இல்லையா? So I used to play this thing right beside
white
his
noise is very
bedside.
interesting these days. I mean, I think when we were much
There are
younger,
apps also. Yeah.
when we were much younger, we didn't know this thing of white noise. But nowadays, this is a very interesting thing. You play white noise near the ears of an infant, it will very quickly slip into sleep.
Right.
And that is the effect of white noise. White noise, again, is a very, very low frequency sound. And it is like a buzzing sound, actually. So it is a Brigangana Geeta.
Correct.
So Kalidasa is talking about white noise. Bringangana Geeta Sandri Bhavan, and that intensifying white noise, or that noise of that low frequency sound, Mandra Tantri, essentially brings our mind to a state of calm. It doesn't agitate you. Right? So, correct, Mama. When we adopt to delta stage, the outside sound becomes minimal and does not affect, which means you're aware, you're not sleeping, you're aware, but you're in a very calm and in a very lowest agitated state of mind. So look at this. I mean, this whole verse, it appears to be quite flooded with a lot of that content, right? So it's essentially Kalidasa's experience, because what he's experiencing at that time when this is flowing through him this is what he is experiencing: sound, he's experiencing beautiful smell. In fact, a lot of people have there are accounts of people having in deep states of consciousness, they have smelled different smells of vibhuti or some agarbatti, although that agarbatti wouldn't have been there in the vicinity anywhere. They would have smelled that, all of that. So these happen. So Kalidasa is going through that experience. He's experiencing divine fragrance, divine sound, Omkara, and he is also seeing light within the Mandalodbhasi. And this light is not a very a light that is flashing and painful. It is Chandrika Mandalodbhasi. It is a light that is very gentle and very pleasant even for the inner eye, right? So he's feeling that kind of an experience here. Yes, Mama?
Ekashloki Mari.
Ekashloki, yeah. In one shloka, he's tried to bring in a lot of stuff. True. Okay. So then we will go to the next one now. Vallaki vadana prakriya lola tali dala baddha tatanka bhusha visheshanvite siddha sammanite Divyahala madodvela hela lasachakshurandolana shri samakshipta karnaika nilotpale shyamale Puritashesha lokabhivancha phale shri phale. These three, see, we just have to figure out how to bring some of these together, because it's just a full series of verses that he has sang. Okay, but we got to make sense out of it. We got to figure out how it's flowing, because it is flowing. It is flowing in a certain way. Although it's like they say that there is there is an order to madness. What do they say? There's a word they say, a phrase. Anyway, Kalpaka can help me here. Order to madness. What is that? I mean, it's a term used to indicate that everything may seem chaotic, but there is a certain order to it. Right? So, there is a method to this madness. Okay. Correct. You say there is a method to this madness. So there's a term that's usually used, particularly the workplace, to show that when there is things that don't seem to be in order, it just seems like there's madness. But then you say that if you know what you're doing, the one who knows it says that yes, it appears to be just chaotic and mad, but there is a method. There's a method to this. So similarly, there is an order. There is an apparent order to there's this flow. We just have to look through that and try to figure that out, right? So now he has come down till the Tatanka. He's coming to the Tatanka, the ear, the earrings. Okay. So he came to the cheeks. He started with the eye. He went to the eyes, the forehead, the hair, all of that he did. He came to the cheeks. Now he is coming to the Tatanka, or the ear drops, the earrings. See, Vallaki Vadana Prakriya is the process of playing the veena. In the process of playing the veena, Vallaki Vadana, in the process of playing the veena, Prakriya, Lola Tali Dalabadha. So this thing is shaking. Alola, it's oscillating. What is oscillating? Vallaki Vadana. Vallaki is the veena, or the tambura or veena. Vadana, Prakriya, Lola, Tali Dalabadha. So Tali means here, it is the it is a palm leaf. So Tali Dala, Kamala Dala means lotus leaf. Like that way, Tali Dala is palm leaf, a palm leaf, and this palm leaf is used to make Abadha, is made use of to make what? The Tatanka. So the Tatanka, or the ear ornaments that Devi is wearing, is made up of Tali Dala. Okay. And she is that is oscillating. That is alola, that's oscillating when during the playing of her veena. Vallaki Vadana Prakriya Lola Tali Dala Abadha. Tali Dala Abadha Tatanka. The Tatanka, which is made up of Tali Dala, that is shaking. Okay. Bhusha Visheshanvite. And that Tatanka is a very special kind of an ornament that she's wearing. It's a Bhushana, Visheshanvite. Vishesha Anvite. Anvite is to adorn. She's adorned with this special kind of a bhushana, which is Tali Dalabadha Tatanka Siddha Sammanite. O one who is honored by the Siddhas, or one who is meditated upon by the Siddhas, or contemplated upon by the Siddhas. Okay. So in the previous one, we entered the idea of contemplation by means of doing pratyahara, by withdrawal of the sense organs, right? In the sixth one, right? Yeah, sixth one, Prolasadvalika. Here we spoke about how the sense organs have to be brought together in pratyahara, in a process of withdrawal, so that the mind can then establish itself in the Ishta or the Devi or the object of meditation. And here, when the mind settles in that, then there is a certain swaying movement. There is a movement of joy. Okay. Vallaki Vadana Prakriya, it's as though the mind is now enjoying the joy of this absorption inside. The mind is going inside, it's enjoying that joy, and the ear ornaments are shaking for Devi, right? So this is an expression of joy that one is experiencing when one withdraws your sense perception, organs of sense perception within oneself, and then you will experience this joy, right? So those who have been exposed to the process of meditation, you know, the moment there is a certain level of absorption of all your external sense perceptions and you're in a real state of calm, there is a certain joy that will well within. It will come up. That joy is expressed here. Vallaki Vadana Prakriya Lola Tali Dalabadha Tatanka Bhusha Visheshanvite Siddha Sammanite. She is, O Matangi, O Mother Matangi, you are the one who's desirous of or honored by the Siddhas. Who are Siddhas? Siddha Purushas are accomplished ones, who are accomplished in the state of meditation, in the state of absorption, in the state of samadhi. They are absorbed, they are established. Siddha. Siddha means accomplished. So they are Siddhas. So Siddha Sammanite. So by those Siddhas, you are honored. Which means what? If I follow this process of meditation, I go into that state of mind or consciousness that the Siddhas are in. This is a state of samadhi. Then Divyahala Madodvela, it continues. Divyahala Madodvela Hela Lasa Chakshur Andolana Shri Samakshipta Karaneka Nilotpale Shyamale. Here, there is a comparison that is brought in here. Samakshipta means, in comparison, it is made small. When something is made small in comparison, that's samakshipta. What is made small? The karanaika nilotpale, So Devi's ears, there is nilotpala flowers. There are these flowers, blue flowers. In the ears, there is this unique blue colored flowers that are there. Karna eka nilotpala. That is put to shame. That color, that beautiful color of the Nilotpala. Nilotpala is supposed to be a very beautiful flower. And the color of that flower is put to shame by what? Lasachakshur Andolana Shri. Which means the Lasachakshur Andolana means the Chakshuhu. Lasat Chakshu means the brightened eyes or the luminous eyes of Devi. They are shaking, they are moving. Andolana. They are moving. And when they move, because the eyes are also dark in color, the Nilotpala flowers are also dark in color, and she is referred to as Shyamale because it's the same. She is also dark in color. This eyes, the color of the eyes creates a certain kind of a brightness. It puts the Nilotpala flowers to shame. Samakshipta. It puts them to shame. And where is this? Why is this eye moving in this way? Lasad Chakshu also means the eyes are dancing. It's as though the eyes are dancing. Why are they dancing? Because of Divya Hala Madodvela. Because she is intoxicated. Divya Hala. She's intoxicated with a certain kind of an intoxicant. Hala means, direct meaning of hala is a liquor. It's an intoxicant. She is in a state of mada, in an intoxicated state, and it is what is overflowing. Hela, the lasad hela, which means the joy is overflowing. Udvela, the joy is overflowing, and the mind is in a state of intoxication. And because of this, the eyes are moving. And because of the eyes that are moving, the beauty that it generates, the beauty that the eyes generate by the movement, that puts, or the color or the brightness of the light that comes out of that eye moving, it puts the color of the Nilotpala to shame. Oh Shyamale, oh Matangi. So Shyamala here is that aspect of Devi. We spoke about Shyamala, the color of Neela, Neela Matangi, Neela Saraswati. That color is brought into focus here to show, or the dark color. Shyama also means dark. Right? So she is, so you can imagine she is drunk and intoxicated with this joy of what? So now you bring it to, keep Devi on one side. Now you bring it to ourselves or the Siddha Purusha. How does the Siddha Purusha experience this joy of Samadhi? Once he is withdrawn his senses in the 6th verse, he's withdrawing his senses, then he goes into a certain state of joy and Samadhi within, where he is swaying and moving in a certain joy, and his eyes are also not fixed on a certain thing, because his eyes are not no longer looking at this world of duality. They are in a plane of intoxication, and in that it is as though this intoxication is as though he is drunk divya hala, a divine liquor. And in that state, he is completely in a state of intoxication. Now, what happens in the state of intoxication? Purita shesha lokabhivancha phale shri phale. Purita, completely ashesha loka, without any remnant. The complete Purita ashesha loka, the full loka, everything in this loka, abhivancha phale. Abhivancha is the fruit of all desires. Shri Phale, she is that mother who fulfills all the desires of all the living beings in this whole universe, in this whole world. Why? Because she is in a completely intoxicated state. When someone's very happy, that is exactly the time you have to go and ask that person, right? What you want. That is the time you go and ask them what you want. Not when they're upset or disturbed or agitated or anxious. None of those states. When somebody is really in a very blissful state, you go and ask them whatever, they will bless you, they will give you. And this will happen. Why? Because they are feeling fulfilled inside. When you feel fulfilled inside, you will not feel like you will not feel like not giving anything. Why? Because there is no sense of I will lose this if I give this. That sense is lost. You've become intoxicated. People who drink and all that, they'll probably experience this. How you get work done out of somebody when they are drunk. Because they have no sense of anything. They're just in an intoxicated state. They don't care. They will lose something. They will probably not, whatever, right? So that the sense of loss is not there. So this sense of loss, like Guruvayurappan blessed Narayana Bhattadri, correct? That state of bliss that Narayana Bhattar experienced, and he was blind, or what was that? He had a
வாத நோய் இருந்தது அவரோட குருட்டேந்து வந்துட்டு.
He had taken it from his guru, right? Correct. So that experience, despite whatever your state is, there is a state of joy. When you hit that, then then whenever anybody comes to you at that time, you are in a complete state of bliss, and you won't mind giving anything. You won't mind giving everything also.
The vice versa on true. The vice versa of giving, it will give you happiness also. Same. நீங்க டிஸ்ட் போது நீங்க கேட்டா கிடைக்கும். நீங்க அது கொடுக்கறதுனாலே உங்களுக்கு
there is a joy that comes. Correct. But sadly, in the present state of our minds, to recognize that there is a joy in giving, it takes a certain level of maturity, and it requires a certain level of working through it. The joy of giving is
the giving only when we the attachment to that is withdrawn by us.
correct.
Otherwise, withdrawn panni, and anybody asks you give it, you will feel happy.
Absolutely. So the moment you withdraw within, then there is the attachment is gone, the sense of possession is lost, and you give because you don't think that this is mine anymore. That loss of association, loss of attachment, it allows you to give freely. So, which is why it's always important, of course, when we go out into the world and we serve and give and all that, it's important to stabilize. When we bring our minds within ourselves to a certain place of joy and fulfillment, the process of giving becomes much more easier. Right? Correct. You can't receive unless you give. It's a whole cycle. It's a yajna. The other day we were discussing, saying yajna, the process of yajna, or the process of sacrifice, or the process of giving, essentially enables you to receive. Receive what? Not necessarily all the time material wealth, but wisdom, spiritual wealth, understanding, knowledge, all of that. So here, this is how the experience of Kalidasa is. Here he is saying, Prolasadvalika Moktika Shrenika. He is trying to withdraw, saying when there is a withdrawal of the sense perceptions and you go into this meditative state, then there is this joy. This mantra tantri sware, the pranava now starts, the mantra tantri swara that you were listening to earlier here, now it starts becoming like a Vallaki Vadana. It becomes like beautiful music that is played from within. And then you enjoy that. And you are in a state of Divya Hala Madhodvela, Helala Satchakshurandolana. So then your eyes are moving, means you're not essentially captivated by the world. Right now, our eyes are captivated by the world. If I look at something, my eyes are stuck there. If I look something else, my eyes are stuck there. Why? Because the world is so captivating. You keep moving your eyes left, right a few times, you will notice the whole world it becomes hazy. It suddenly starts becoming, you can experience the temporariness or the unreal nature of things. If you move your eyes left, right, or up, down, or whatever, if you keep moving your eyes, or you just move your body, like the whirling dervishes of the Sufi groups, they go around. Those who know the song of Khwaja Mere Khwaja, right? They go around. When they do that, everything keeps moving. And when everything moves, you recognize that, but it's moving around a center. Now that center is not moving. So when this movement happens so rapidly, your eyes don't get captivated on the outside. So when your eyes are not captivated, then what you experience there is Shyamale, which means essentially Shyamala is the color of the dark, which means you are, and again, color of the dark doesn't necessarily mean blankness. Color of the dark is a state of absorption. It's a complete state of absorption within. There are no objects, there are no thing there. There are no things. So when you say nothing in this context, it means there are no specific things. So there is a state of absorption that you experience. But in that state, what happens? Because of this joy, Purita Shesha Loka Abhivacha Phale Shri Phale. So Shri Phale is auspiciousness. You just exude auspiciousness in the state of consciousness that you are in. Right? So that is till the 9th verse. So what we'll do is we'll just, Amma, are you there on the line, Ma? Amma?
இருக்கேன்.
Amma, you'll chant from Jaya Janani till the 9th verse, and then we'll close today.
Yeah. சொல்லு. ஜெய ஜனனி சுதா எங்க ஒரு நிமிஷம் சொல்றேன். எங்கேன்னு சொன்னேனே எடுத்துக்கிறேன்.
For the first one, Jaya Janani Sudha Samudra.
அதுல வாசி. ஜய ஜனனி சுதா சமுத்ராந்தருத்யன் மணித்வீப சம்ரூட பில்வாட்டவி மத்திய கல்பத்ருமா கல்பகாதம்பகாந்தார வாசப்பிரியே கிருத்திவாசப்பிரியே சர்வலோகப்பிரியே சாதராரப்த சங்கீத சம்பாவனா சம்பிரமாலோலனீபஸ்ஸகாபத்த चूलिसनातत्रिकेशानुमत् पुत्रिके शेखरीभूत शीतां सुरेखा मयूकावलीबद्ध सुस्निग्धनीलालकश्रेणि शृङ्गारिते लोकसम्भाविते कामलीला धनुस्सन्निभ बृहलता पुष्पसन्दोह सन्देह क्लिल्लोचने वाक्सुधा सेचने चारुकोरोजना पङ्गकेलीललामाभिरामे सुरामे रमे प्रोलसत्वालिका मौक्तिक श्रेणिका चंद्रिका मंडलोद्वासी लावण्य गंडत्यलंध्यस्त कस्तूरिका पत्ररेखा समुद्भूत सौरभ्य सम्भ्रांत भृंगांगना गीत शांत्री भवन मंत्र तंत्रीश्वरे सुस्वरे भास्वरे वल्लकी वादन प्रक्रियालोल ताली तलाबद्ध ताटंग भूषा विशेषान्विते सिद्ध सम्मानिते दिव्यहाला मदोद्वेलहेलाल सत्चक्षुरांदोलन श्री चक्षुरांदोलन श्री समाक्षिप्त कर्णैक नीलोत्पले श्यामले पूरिताशेष लोकापि वाञ्छाफले श्रीफले श्वेत बिन्दूल सत्फल लावण्य निश्यन्त संदोह संदेह कृन्नासिका मौक्तिके सर्व मंत्रात्मिके सर्व विश्वात्मिके कालिके मुग्ध मंद स्मितोद्धार भक्त स्फुरत्पूर तांबूल कर्पूर कंठोत्करे ज्ञान मुद्रा करे सर्व संपत् करे पद्म भास्वत करे श्रीकरे कुंद पुष्प द्युति स्निग्ध निदंतावली निर्मलालोल कल्लोल सम्मेलन स्मेर चोणाधरे चारुवीणाधरे पक्व बिंबाधरे.
Beautiful, Ma. Very nice. Om Kayena Vacha Manasendriyerva Buddhyatmana va Prakrite Swabhavat Karomi Yatyat Sakalam Parasmai Narayanaayeti Samarpayami Sadashivayeti Samarpayami Jagadambikayeti Samarpayami Sadgurunathayeti Samarpayami Hari Om Tat Sadgurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.